Early on, I think when I was like 17, I started seeing Sight. He was one that I would see, and when I met him, I was like, "What, Sight?" That's brother for life, you know. So yeah, so it was all. It's so many good writers that I would see, and that still paint till this day, and I love seeing that because graffiti could never die. Graffiti could never die.
Why did some people think you were a black man? Did they ever explain that?
Because I used to paint with Sight. I used to paint with Sight a lot, and UPN it had in the late 90s, early 2000s. There wasn't that many black people painting. There wasn't that many, and to even meet one, it was UPN we had a few, we had a handful. So it was just people just thought, oh, it's GIZM's a guy. And then I had another crewmate of mine. His name was Gist, J-I-S-T, and he was a black guy. And so I guess they had, they would confuse us because they would think they'll hit him up. Oh, I thought you were a girl, like it would be back and forth.
Do you remember first picking up a can or a marker to write with? Can you tell us about that experience?
My mom used to work for LAX in the kitchen, so they used to always have them stocked with Poscas. I guess they used to write on, I don't know what she would write, but she had every size. That was the first marker ever that I would touch and start painting. Even though it'll erase, it was, whack, but I had my name on a dope-ass color.
Do you steal them from your mom? Does she give them to you?
No, I first started taking them, but, they'll give them to her for free. So she saw, and I used to also draw when I was young, so she would just give them to me. Like, oh, yeah, here, take more, take more.
Where would you write? Would you write in school, on the streets?
I write light poles, on the way to school, all over school, books, the typical.
What name were you writing in those early days?
It was Sinful, the party crew name. For a long time, that's all I would write. It wasn't until I met that guy and I switched name.
How did you get the name Sinful? Can you tell us about that? Do you pick it? Does someone else pick it for you?
I think it was, you always get influenced by people before you, And I had an older sister and an older cousin, and they were the only two females. It was an age gap, but they were the only two females that I felt close to. So that was my cousin's name and her party crew name for a bit. So I just I thought it was cool, full of sin. I didn't want to be Shy Girl or the typical name. That I used to have Giggles though, but I never wrote that. So I just felt full of sin, I'm always doing something. I used to always get into a lot of, I was a good girl, but I used to always destroy stuff, break stuff, burn stuff.
What party crew was your cousin from?
What was it? I think it was, Precious Cuties, I want to say.
What school are you in your party crew days? Is this junior high, high school?
No, this was high school. It was Inglewood High.